And hi, I'm Bradley Creanzo.
Welcome to another edition of On the Table, where we put a up-and-coming independent film, well, on the table. Today, I have Bradley Creanzo, the writer, producer, director, cinematographer, caterer, Foley artist, gaffer, best boy, and the former lead singer of Whitesnake of the Bible Belt Slasher Part 2. So, Brad, we are here in the Bradco video store, which is quite impressive, I might say.
Thank you.
I mean, I haven't seen a collection like this in years. Like, actual years. Like, 88 or 89, maybe. An old Palmer video. If they even have this many titles. Looking forward to renting some of these, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, no problem. I got plenty to rent.
The Bible Belt Slasher Part 2. Can you explain this film that is almost completed with the audience?
Okay, well, first off, The Bible Belt Slasher Part 2 is obviously a sequel to the first film, which was just The Bible Belt Slasher. Now, that film was a short. It was only 30 minutes in the runtime, and this one is a full-length feature spanning about an hour and 45 minutes overall. Now, in Bible Belt Slasher Part 2, the main story is about a religious fanatic named Jason Fry who is going after the parents of the victims that he killed in the first movie. Because in his eyes, he believes that the parents are sinners who gave birth to sinners. So henceforth, in the first one, he killed the kids. So, you know, the apple doesn't far fall from the tree, so of course he goes after the rest of them. And that's the premise for number 2 for the most part. And there's a crazy doctor character, Dr. Ray Landers, which I play, and it's sort of an ode to Halloween a little bit. I'm chasing him throughout the movie, trying to track him down. There's also Sheriff Ross. There's the main character, Rebecca Bell, which is played by Taylor Raftree, a very good friend of mine. And she's not an actress, and she does a phenomenal job in the lead role. So I was very impressed with her performance overall.
Now, you said religious horror. It's a religious horror movie. What inspired you to actually write this? Are you religious yourself, or do you just like the concept?
Well, I shouldn't say that I'm not religious. What happened basically was I went to Catholic school for the early years of my life.
Hey, me too. Go figure.
Yep. And I will say one thing. Going to Catholic school does teach you a lot. And that can be good or that can be bad. In my case, it did inspire me to write this kind of a movie. So you can take away what you want from it of what Catholic school teaches people.
I'm going to take away that that's not a bad thing, because I kind of understand what you're saying here. Those religion classes all the way through. I remember, since this was a sequel, and you did kind of explain the first one, what made you make the jump from short to full length without actually remaking the first one, so to speak?
Well, it was actually an accident. When I started doing the second one, the script was only 40 pages. Okay. So it was going to be another short. It was going to be under an hour, coming in at probably 40-45 minutes tops. But halfway through shooting, all the scenes were actually running longer than what I scripted. They always say a minute a page when it comes to movies.
That's the standard, yeah.
The standard, but it didn't prove true. Every page was like 2 minutes. So I was almost doubling my time, and plus, I said to myself, why should I do another short when I could just make it into a feature and possibly get distribution and let other people, you know, see it? I felt I would be cheating the people if I didn't try to make it a feature, because who wants to sit through a short all the time? After so many shorts, it gets kind of tedious. You want to do something a little bit bigger, more grand scale. And that's what I did with Bible Belt Slasher Part 2. I tried to take what was a short and I turned it into a feature. And I think it's pretty good, to be honest. Everything connects, the story is solid, the acting is good. A lot of the people in it are not professional actors. There's only a few professional actors. But overall, I have to say I'm very impressed with the way the whole cast came together for the movie.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Now, you said everything ended up being longer. Were there any difficulties making this, even from the scripting stage of it possibly being short to a full-length feature? Because clearly it changed, so did you have any problems? Or
yes,
anything?
There were a couple of major problems. The two biggest problems, number one, I had to write out 2 main characters of the movie.
Literally. Terrible.
Yeah. We were in the process of filming. I already had a scene, one of the most important scenes of the movie shot, which is the courtroom opening, where Jason Fry.
I remember you telling me about that when we first discussed this. Yeah.
When Jason Fry is being sentenced, and one of the 5 main characters, her name was Margie Pearson, and she's the mother of one of the kids that Jason Fry killed in the first film. Now, the actress who played her, she basically flaked out on me. So I had to literally work around her part. She was a main character, and I had to try and figure out a way to write her out of the movie. It was so difficult. I didn't think it was going to work. And the other thing was, I also had to write out another character from the movie, and that was the character of Connie, who is the main character, Rebecca's best friend.
No, I understand. Yeah, it's rough, but at least the movie's done and you made it work, right?
So,
that's a good thing. Okay, so now, the Bible Belt slasher, iconic-wise, do you think your killer could make it up there? Like, does he have the look, the style?
I believe he has the look, the style, the potential, the voice, the presence for it. He is an iconic character, in my opinion. The actor and the character both are iconic.
Nice, nice. Now, looking at the Bradco video store, I see a lot of movies that I've seen as a young child that molded my film viewing. What kind of influences are we talking about when it comes to a Bradco production? Because I've seen your short, Night Games, and I was a big fan. What influences do you have that you could share with us today?
Well, I've always been a fan of the 1980s. Most of my movie styles and, films I like come from that decade, but not just that decade, though. I love everything. I love the 70s, the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s. The only thing I really don't like, quite honestly, would be the today's stuff and the 90s. But as far as the other influences go, I love everything, though. Action, comedy, dramas. But horror is my biggest. My second favorite would be action. I mean, one of my biggest influences, quite honestly, in my filmmaking is a movie called Vice Squad with Hauser as Ramrod. A personal favorite.
I've actually seen that movie.
It's epic. But then I have influences that go way back to the 1930s and 40s. Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, John Carradine. Those were the ones I was into first. And then I graduated Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, all the Hammer films, big, huge influence.
But yeah, so Bible Belt Slasher Part 2. Sounds great. I can't wait to see it. When can we expect this film to be available for the public?
Well, the film, hopefully it'll be screening in March. As of right now, the film is pretty much done. It's just the soundtrack is what I'm working on right now. I'm doing the composition for the entire soundtrack. I do have one friend who's helping me with a few of the songs. Her name's Andy Harriman. Okay. And she's very good. All of the vocal tracks, she's collaborated with me on.
Oh, nice.
Everybody will hear that. There's going to be a soundtrack for it, too, when I release the movie.
I've seen his setup. I want that soundtrack. After seeing what he works with, you're going to want to pick it up, too. I can't wait. I actually can't wait to see this.
It's very John Carpenter-esque, though. A lot of the stuff in the movie that's not vocal.
Yeah. Okay, so March, Bible Belt Slasher. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to give me or the audience as to why they should watch this movie?
Quite honestly, not to be offensive to anybody out there, but personally I think the Bible Belt Slasher will give you a really good story for your buck, and it will not let you down as far as gore and entertainment. You're not going to watch a movie that's just ridiculous. The Bible Belt Slasher, it's a serious film with dark humor here and there, but overall, it's just a very well put together, tightly paced horror thriller. That's exactly what it is, a horror thriller.
I cannot wait to see this film. Bradley Creanzo of Bradco, it was good to have you here. It was good for you to invite me to your video store.
Anytime.
And for Mary Likes Movies and On the Table, we will see you next time.